guys, today I'm going to be doing my foundation routine, and I'm going to be doing a pretty detailed walkthrough of what I do exactly. I'm going to list all the products I would have used in the description box below, and I'm going to also show you them while I'm using them. I hope that you enjoy this video, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Bye. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to moisturize my face. I'm going to be using the First Aid Beauty. It's like this. It's the Ultra Repair Oil Control Moisturizer. I just use that to prep my skin for all the makeup I'm about to put on, and my skin is kind of dry right now, so I just like to moisturize before I do anything else. So now I'm going to prime my skin with the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. It looks like this. I'm going to put that in my oily areas, which is my T-zone and everywhere else, but I'm going to concentrate it on this area. I tend to get the oiliest hair at any given time, so just want to make sure that that is in. You could do this with a brush if you want to, but I don't because it takes too much time. Not really, it just I don't want to. Okay, so after that is all patted in and rubbed in, I'm actually going to use the Mercier translucent powder in the shade translucent. I'm going to use that to actually, if any oil wants to come through, it has to come through the primer, then this, then the foundation, then the powder. I mean, it will, but at least it will reduce the amount that actually comes through. So I'm going to use a damp beauty blender, and I'm going to just press that in to my skin in the same T-zone, which is on my forehead, down the bridge of my nose, under my eye, my cupid's bow, and my chin. I'm going to put a little bit in my smile line area. And now, as you can see, I look mattified already. I am going to do my brows off camera, and then I'm going to be right back, and then we're going to actually start the foundation routine. I'm back. Just decided to get some wine for today, because when it comes to a drink, I'ma have it. I'm sorry. So basically, I would have done my brows off camera, and now I'm gonna do a brow routine next week. So basically, I want it to be like, okay, you know, to do the foundation, you know, to do the brows, then we could go back to eyes, and then we could play up or down from there. You get what I'm saying? Okay. So rip. It's rip. So let's do some foundation. So I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty foundation in the shade Peanut Butter Cup. It looks like this. I'm going to use the pump. I'm going to squirt. I'm going to pump this all over my face, my nose, and chin. It may seem like it's a lot, but that's because it is. And then I'm going to use the same damp beauty blender I would have applied the Mercier with, and I'm going to actually use that to pat the foundation in. So I'm going to use the bottom and then I'm going to pat all over. I'm using I would say my hand is kind of heavy, kind of not. Okay, it's pretty heavy, so you can use whatever you're comfortable with, and you can use that to blend in your foundation. If you wanted to use a brush, you could do that. I think I may have just gotten some on my ear. That's okay, because my ear doesn't match me anyway, so I should put some back there regardless. You should probably stay in one spot until it's all blended, but I'm impatient, so I just go cross country until it's time, and then I just keep going, taking laps around my face. So don't forget the neck, don't forget the chin, don't forget the don't forget don't forget the ear, don't forget here, the jawline. And you could put the sponge on your eyelid. The concealer I would have put under my eyes, underneath my eyebrows, I'm gonna put underneath my eyes, but it's still like too stark to not like blend it out. So yeah. So spend a lot of time pouncing in my foundation. Pouncing in. Okay. And I just do that to make sure that everything is blended. If anybody catches me on camera, even if for whatever reason and I have like flashback, that it would be like a blended flashback and not like unblended, because that would be pretty gross. So there's that. So now I'm going to be using the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer in the shade Butterscotch. Looks like this. I'm going to use that under my eyes. So I'm going to put it here, 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 here. You can see me. Rainbow. No, that is not a rainbow. That is a horseshoe. Then we're gonna go down the bridge of our noses, our cupid's bow, and we're gonna come on the chin. So now we are giving tribal, which is really cute. The reason that we are concealing is because our face has a lot of dimensions, and when we do foundation we make a very flat type of vibe. So to bring back the color and the dimension into our face, that is why we end up concealing and contouring and bronzing and blush and highlight. So I'm going to, as you can see, was talking for a bit, and that was intentional. So basically our concealer is full coverage, but if you want to get a bit more coverage, we can actually let the concealer sit, and then we can blend out the same way we would have if we had started to blend immediately. Okay, so it's gonna take a sip. Now I'm gonna use the damn beauty sponge. I'm gonna use the top. I'm going to, the side. I'm gonna start with our forehead first. You could blend outward, then down the bridge of the nose, cupid's bow, then the chin, then I'm gonna go under the eye, I'm gonna try to keep the sponge as close to the eye as humanly possible because I don't want the concealer all down here. Because I have a longer face, I don't want to make it any longer. So I would rather widen it than make it longer, if that makes sense. Because with makeup, we all have the ability to like shape shift. So I would like to shape shift in a way that complements my face shape as opposed to just doing what everybody else is doing. Then I'm going to take the concealer and I'm going to put it onto my eyelid up until the eyebrow. I'm just going to go all the way around in a circle. Terrifying. Okay. Next eye. Same thing, same concept. Blend it in close to the eye. You can keep it tight, like and stop it at maybe your eyebrow tail, or you can take it all the way out. It's up to you. Try to let my like mesh into nothing, but sometimes it doesn't always work, but it might just have just now. I mean, that's okay. And then on the other side it did not. So we're gonna try to like take that back down a notch. Oh, that is pretty bad. Right, so now I'm just gonna use the sponge. I'm gonna go all around and make sure that any harsh lines are gone. And I'm going to use the sponge and I'm going to like kind of like flick it into my nose bridge, because what happens when we conceal our eyes, sometimes it forms like a concealer socket, so we try to like get rid of that when we are blending out our stuff so it isn't like harsh. So there's that. Okay, so now I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty. This is the Pro Filt'r Mini Instant Retouch Setting Powder in the shade Honey. I'm going to use that on the T-zone areas that I would have identified earlier: the forehead, the bridge of the nose, underneath the eye, the cupid's bow, and the chin. You could use as little or how much you want, because it depends on like how much coverage you need or how much makeup you actually want to wear. So some people might just put on this much and feel good, or they might need a little bit more, or they might not want to set their face at all, which I do not recommend if you have oily skin. Even if your skin is matte, like not matte, if it's dry, I still wouldn't recommend you not like setting your skin like at all. I think that's kind of weird. I think it might not give you the effect in a few hours that you might be looking for, and that's just me being honest. So right, so I'm gonna put the setting powder under my eye a little bit more. I want a heavier, I want like a bright under eye, like a super bright under eye. So I'm gonna like kind of, yes, kick it on. Because I want to look snatched, so horrifying. I'm sorry. So right, so I'm gonna use the same powder. I'm gonna put that on my eye. Gonna go like really close under the eyebrow, because when your face starts to produce oils on its own and the concealer under your brow is there as well, it's also going to get oily. So sometimes you might have a matte face with shiny eyebrows, so to avoid that, you can actually put the setting powder on your eyebrows. I'm going to use the Mercier for that part, because my eyebrows get greasy. So to avoid that, I would use the Mercier to set them. Oh, my shirt is dirty. Okay, so now we have our powder. I am going to use the Fenty Beauty in the shade Hazelnut. I'm going to shake it out a little. It looks like this is almost gone, but I mean, it matches me, I guess. I kind of like looked online when I was buying it. Wasn't actually in store, and it was close enough. So, and I don't wear enough as a fly in my room when I want it to leave. I don't wear enough setting powder for it to matter, but you know. So I'm gonna use this brush here. It's pretty fluffy. It's like a dome brush, and I'm just gonna like dust some powder all around the areas we didn't put setting powder. We could put it in this little area here. Down the bridging, not down the bridging neck. No. Yeah, so I'm gonna put it here. Right, so now we're done with that. I'm now gonna use the Mercier setting powder in translucent once again, but I'm gonna use that only in the like very like inner corner of under my eye. I want like a fairly bright under eye, and I think that this does the job. Like all the way back, all the way across is too much, but like right here, like chef's kiss. So I think that is enough. Also me doing it still. And then I'm just going to use like this brush here, and I'm just going to take it and tap it in the top of the brush. I'm just going to swipe the setting powder over my brows. It's not a lot of powder, just enough. And don't be afraid to get powder or use a brush around your eyebrows when you would have already concealed them, because it gives them a more natural look. And by natural I mean fluffy, because if I wanted natural I would have done them. So a fluffier look. And you could apply the powder in the same direction you want your eyebrows to go, which is up, side, down. So there's that. So now I'm going to use that same powder that I would have applied my powder foundation that's matching the rest of my skin. I'm going to use this brush to dust away all the powder underneath my eyebrows, and then just do an overall sweep. I didn't let it bake too long. To be quite honest, it was like maybe a minute and a half, and that was me doing all the other stuff. But I didn't actually bake like for a very long time. So there's that. So now we are almost finished, but now so we could bring some color back into our faces, I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty Sun Stalk'r in the shade Mocha Mami. It looks really red on camera and it's really red in person, but I like it, so I'm going to use it. I've been using it for a couple months now. Makes me look really like radiant. So I'm going to use like this oldest brush I have from Morphe, and I'm gonna use like a C motion. So I flick, 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 flick. Okay, I'm sorry. So I'm gonna use that type of motion all around the perimeter of my face. So I'm gonna come into my hairline here. I'm gonna do it all around, and on the forehead I'm gonna come a little further down. So we are almost done with the bronzer. I would have put it on the jawline as well here. Just gonna use a bit of the Hazelnut. Just gonna put that on the forehead. Anywhere that looks a bit like I went overboard. Right, so now I'm gonna use a blending brush, and I'm gonna use the same Mocha Mami, and I'm gonna take it down the bridge of my nose. I don't contour, I just use bronzer. And what I do, I come on the bridge of my nose, or the bridge of my nose at the side, so like basically in line with my nostril. So like that. So I will use that as a guideline, and I will go straight up. Because it's bronzer, you can't really like go too heavy. Like you can, but it's like not really. So I do it on the other side, and it makes everything look more finished. And when I get to the brow, just let it like disappear up here into like whatever this is, and let the bronzer go right in there. And then because my eyelids are now flat from what I would have used in terms of the concealer and stuff, I'm actually going to use the bronzer again, and I'm gonna just dust that in my crease. Nothing crazy, just wanna make it look a little bit more lived in. So now we are done with bronzer. I'm on to blush. I love blush. Blush is my favorite part of my makeup routine. I'm going to be using the Beauty Bakerie Snackaroons blush in Kiss My Cheeks. It's this hot pink. I mean, the pink is bright, but on my skin tone it looks normal, so proceed at your own risk. But it's a really pigmented shade. Oh, this is my blush brush. So yeah, so I'm just going to use that to put right above where I would have placed the bronzer. I'm going to start at my cheek. I'm going to go straight up. I'm going to use the same C motion that I would have used to apply the bronzer. Then I'm going to awkwardly smile. And then I'm going to do the other side. It looks like a lot on camera because it is. So I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighter in the shade Riviera. Just gonna put that on my cheek, like do the same weird smile. I'm going to use the same highlighter at the tip of my nose and down the bridge. Ah! Stop! 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 Ew! And my cupid's bow. So now basically everything is done. I'm just going to use the shade Hazelnut. I'm going to cut my cheeks. I'm going to use the tip of the beauty blender and I'm going to come from my ear. I'm going to come like above my lip line. So like basically like it was going to create a mustache. Now I'm going to use the same powder brush to take off the excess powder that I would have used to cut my cheeks. My makeup is basically finished. I'm just going to put on some lashes and some lip gloss or lipstick off camera, and then I'm going to be right back. Hey guys, so I am finished. I'm going to use my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. I'm going to use that all over my face